Provide others with value. If you have no friends, then most likely you're not valuable to those around you. And value can mean something as simple as making them laugh. So your humor, or your skills, or your advice could also be something of value to others. And to be honest, your life is boring. Like, you're not doing anything interesting. Because if you would do something that's fun, then you'd have lots of friends. And now, I don't mean that you should get into the bad habits, like you should go out partying every weekend. No, that's not what you should do. You should do healthy habits from which you can take pleasure. So, for example, going out to play some sports. And fuck. And actually, I was just like you. I always used to stay at home the whole day until someone would invite me. Until I heard this piece of advice. Be a creator, not a consumer. And then also be the guy who invites others, not the one who's being invited. It basically means that you should take your life into your own hands. And after I heard especially the second advice of be the guy who invites others, not the one who's being invited, I started implementing this into my life. And now my lifestyle is very active. Like, I really enjoy being active. So for example, I started last year, I think, with basketball, or was it this year or last year? I started playing basketball with a single friend of mine because I asked him, and on days where he had no time, so he refused, I would still go alone. And it was actually a lot of fun, especially since it was kind of getting out of my comfort zone, since I didn't really like being outside alone. What else should I do? Should I sit at home and, I don't know, watch YouTube for a couple of hours? What should I do? What productive thing can I do? It's way more likely that you're wasting time at home than if you were outside. So I started with one guy, and then slowly I asked the people around me at my school, are you free this weekend? And if yes, do you want to come play basketball with me? I'm going to play. And even if they, like I said, even if they refused, I would still go. But if they came, which was often the case, then we would now have 2 or 3 people who would play basketball. And then after we played, I asked them oh, do you have others who might also enjoy playing basketball with us? And then they would ask their friends. And then I asked the people around me, oh, what do you think actually of beach volleyball? It's a cool idea. I've never played it, but it sounds like so much fun, especially since it's in the sun and it's something new. And I like trying new things. And they were like, oh, you know what? Actually, why not? And so now I have created this group of 14 people. Usually only 4 of them come, since most of my friends are pussies, they don't go out when it's raining. And also, I know a couple of people at my school who I've asked, but they were like, no, I don't like playing those sports. They're those complete soccer fans, But I still provide those people with my humor at school, so they still invite me to play soccer with them. And, well, you could say I also provide them with my soccer skills, because, I'm the absolute best, I could 1v2 Ronaldo and Messi, Most people don't do anything. Especially people my age. They either go to school or work for 1/3 of the day, and then the rest of the day they do nothing but sleep, eat, scroll on social media, maybe play video games. And actually most of my friends follow soccer they are complete soccer fans, and I can't understand. In my eyes, people who actively follow a sport and are for one team, they are, to say it harshly, I think they're losers. Or at least the people who are not successful themselves. But if you're unsuccessful and you're bored and you just cheer for someone else's success while you yourself are unsuccessful, I just don't understand. But anyways, you have to be the one who provides others with value, because most people wait for someone to give them value. Instead, you should be the guy who thinks like, oh, how can I provide value to him? And if you have a fear of rejection, then you should simply rephrase your question, because then you're asking the wrong question. So instead of saying, do you want to go play basketball? You should ask, I'm going to play basketball. Do you want to come? Because first question is just about, do you want to play basketball? So it's more like, I'm going to do this activity if you do it with me. Like it's a condition for them to come. While the second one is more like, you can come if you want to, but you don't have to. Then there's also this awesome quote that I found, which reads, when you die, the thing on your tombstone isn't anything about how you felt about yourself, but the role you played in society. So for example, loving father, kind teacher, or responsible police officer, etc. Basically on your tombstone it says what mattered in your life, not how you thought about yourself. And that's a really interesting thought, especially because most people my age think like, oh, I'm the main character, you know, you're all NPCs. And then like 90% of people my age, if not even more, do nothing more than play video games, scroll on social media and go to sleep. That's literally all most people do. And if that's the case, then what the fuck should be put on their tombstone? And then there's also this other interesting thought of, in any other point in his in any other point in history, in any other point of time, at during any other point in history. No, okay, fucking English sucks. My English sucks. Okay, so during any other point of history, during any other point in history, if you were not an asset to the tribe, then you would become an outcast. And when you think of your average life and think about all the activities that you do, like video games, social media and all that shit, would you even want to be friends with yourself? Like, is your life interesting enough for others to join? Then how can you expect others to want to be friends with you? So you have to think about it from the perspective of others. You have to think what role you want to play in their lives, because that's all you're going to be remembered for. And if you can fulfill that role, then you will never have to worry about making friends again. Take action.